Tutorials by Andrew Buckle. In this tutorial I'm just going to show you how you can add grain to an image, and I'm going to use the grain filter, and that can be found in Filter and Filter Gallery, and you'll find it in the texture section. Now it's got a number of options. You've got intensity. I'm just going to go to the basic, the regular one there, just going to go up there. It's got grain types, selection of grain types. You've got intensity, so if you actually got intense, you can actually see the very colourful grain that's been added. Also you can modify the contrast, you can make it very sort of black and white, near enough, obviously with colour in the mix, or maybe a very sort of dull, very dull image. Okay, now grain types are more useful. So you've got soft, so you can make it sort of like a lot finer actually in many ways. Sprinkles, that uses the background colour, just move that over so you could have like black there instead of pink. Clumped, sort of maybe more sort of painterly like effect, sort of like certainly a larger sort of grain that's introduced there. Clumped, contrasty, again similar sort of large grain, enlarged as well. Stippled, and that uses the foreground and background colour. Horizontal, which I always like, I must admit, I love the horizontal lines, it's quite good. Also works well with the intensity, so you can create obviously just subtle line streaks across the image. And of course you can modify contrast, make it look very oldie, or you can go for a threshold sort of effect. Again, you've got vertical and speckle, which is more like a newspaper print sort of image. Click OK. So apply that. Great for grain effects. But one thing I do like to do, I actually prefer to actually apply it on a layer. Not all the grain types work well with that, but some do. So you actually go to now a layer, new layer, click OK, and obviously you have to fill that layer with something. So I'm just going to quickly fill it with some 50% grey. Now obviously you can't see anything there at all. So I'm just going to set to overlay, and now, well, of course, I could use some of the other blending modes as well. Now I can go to the filter gallery again, and I say some of them just don't particularly do much. So you've actually got nothing there at all. So you can see if you put the contrast down, you can. But if you go to some of the other ones, you can actually see some of this grain, soft. Okay, sprinkles. I'm going to go for the horizontal. So you've got this lovely horizontal grain that's been added. Click OK. Right, so now you've actually just got it just as a layer. So you can actually change, obviously don't have to go with overlay, you can go with colour dodge, darker colour, create colour burn, create many different types of grain image. Multiply, and also of course being a layer, of course you can actually duplicate a layer as well as apply transformations. And what I'm going to do, just add well as other effects as well. So layer and duplicate layer, click OK, and I'm just going to now bring out the navigator just so I can actually see it a bit better. You can actually transform it, of course it's a layer, so you can just transform it, just rotate, so you can actually get the 100. So you've actually got now a vertical and horizontal. And again, you don't have to go with multiply, you can actually go with overlay and create sort of, I'll zoom in a bit again. So there's a vast number of different grain effects you can create just by combining this grain filter and then manipulating the grain by, say, like rotating. Of course you don't have to rotate it, but you can actually rotate it at different angles, obviously maybe make that stretch out, and so on and so on. And of course you don't have to apply the effect the same in each of the filter, or you can just go now to the filter and just go to the filter gallery, bring up the filter gallery, and maybe choose another, add some grain to that using the grain filter. So you can go for contrasty, click OK. It'll just take a few seconds to add to that, and additional grain. Now obviously you've got a slight missing bit there, but I mean if I extended, made the size so it would actually overlap a bit better, that would be a bit better. But anyway, another thing you can do, of course, is go layer and adjustment layer. And curves. It's always quite a nice one for manipulating with the grain. Properties, click OK. You see I do video timelines quite a bit, so it's actually ended up with the video timeline there. And again, you can modify the colour, which of course modifies the actual impact of the grain as well, like that. Anyway, I hope you found this of interest. Thank you much.